It's 1 month later, and we're probably in the last week or so having an aquarium outside. Starting to get down there in the 60s at night, and that's about as hard as I want to push it. About a week and a half ago, I did put a heater in here, so I've been running that ever since then. But it's just not practical to keep running that. And it is beautiful, nice overcast day, and you can see, where's he at? The whiner right there in the weeds. He knows it's going to rain, so he wants to go inside. So you'll hear him whining throughout the video, but that's his norm. So we're going to come over here and look at this tank. We'll check out the fish. Like I say, I'll probably do a video as we're collecting, and we'll go through and check them out. And there's, one that I want to point out to you. But we're here for the plant update and see how well that worked out. So stay tuned, I'll flip you over. Rascal, are you freaking out because it's going to rain? Are you gonna freak out? He says, I'm pretty scared. Okay. So here's the jungle valve. I'll probably throw up a clip of where we started just for anybody that missed that. But you can see I got runners that are actually jumping over the side of it now. In the last update that we did, we didn't have any runners. And you can see there's runners down along the back side. I'm not sure how many plants are in there, but there's a bunch. It filled in really nice. I'm pretty happy with. So jungle valve outside was a definite win. So, and it'll actually grow up out of the aquarium if you pull it up out. So that was, I think, a pretty impressive, because if you imagine 2 months ago, it started with a few little sticks. I think there was 5 little plants in total. Okay, so jumping over to these guys, I'll throw the names up because I'm horrible at that game. So one thing I did forget to point out when I did this one is it went from soft water. You're catching a horrible reflection. And I got the light on just because it's a little bit of an overcast day. So let's see. Hold on. Okay, so I got you positioned about as good as it's going to get. So one thing I did forget to point out is all this darker green was the original growth, and it actually came from a soft water aquarium where my tap water is normally hard. But you can see that it shot off every stem. We put 4 in here, shot off new growth right at the bottom. Now this very back one, it actually continued on with its original growth, as so did this one, but it was pretty hard on it. But you can see the last few layers look really good. Same with this one. It went really dark all the way the last few layers and looks really good. And continues on with that. Top 2 look good, and then hard down. So that didn't do so well, but it transitioned overall nicely. Like I said, we got new runners all that way down at the bottom. So overall, I think this was a win. And if it had more time out here, or even started with hard water to begin with, that would have worked out well. This one here, see if we can find a good spot. So this one here was a definite win. I mean, we started with plants that were probably in this tall range. I'll try and grab some old footage. But this one also did the same thing. Let me double check. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this one back here has double runners off the bottom. This one's got 1, so I got 5. So one has 2 and all the other ones got 1. Actually, this one's got 2 too. So that worked out really well. And I think that they started off here. So in 1 month, boom. So if you were to do the math, if I would have done this experiment at the beginning of summer, I ran it low for 2 reasons. One, I didn't want to get a couple inches of rain and overflow. That'd have been bad, especially since I got Fry in here. But the other thing is, this was a aquarium that I bought out of that pet store going out of business. And this one, when they threw in, it had the middle brace broke out of it. I'm going to try and be still. Not sure if you can pick that up, but there's a huge bow in it. Just running this tank 3/4 of the way full, that back glass has a huge old bow in it. So now knowing that, next year when I set this up, I'm gonna have to put a cross silicone in some type of brace to take that out. So not that big a deal, but the braces are necessary on larger tanks. So like I said, I got a heater in because we've been dropping in temp. But that's the update. These guys, this one was awesome, came from hard water. This one came from the soft water tank, so you can see it had a little tougher time transitioning, but to be expected. You can see I got no algae. No algae at all. Plants are going really good. They all got a pitch to the right, just because it's on the back side of the shed so it doesn't catch a lot of light, but it's reaching out for what it can get. So everything's got a lean to it, but doing really well. I'd be interested to see. Really excited. So the plan, not really a plan, just a thought, is I could do two 55s back here side by side, maybe even too high. I got 8 of them, so we'll see what we do, but that would be a fun plant growing experience, and maybe I could share. So the jungle valve, not sure what that'll be worth when I take that in, but the local fish store I'm sure is going to want it. So I'm pretty excited. And that big old wad of algae that you remember in the first one, I did pull that out, and it seemed like once I pulled that out, the plants actually did better, which makes sense because the algae wasn't absorbing up all the nutrients. So I think it did really good while it was there, but once these plants started going, no reason to compete, so I pulled it out. And I don't remember in the original video, let's see if we can get it picked up without all the rainwater glare. So that's just guppy grass that I tried ripping all that out. But there's that I believe was Christmas moss or weeping moss. I just threw in just a little teeny piece. Even that did really well. And that was one of the other factors, is that in the algae wad was really hard to keep separate. So that was instantly pulled that out. I can see a little bit of hair algae that I did leave in that, so that's a bummer. I'll try and save that, but depending on how bad the algae is, it might not work out so well. But the plants were able to grow, reproduce, no algae. They get enough light that they grew, and I think they grew really well. So there is the option that we could probably do easily 12 pots in this tank. Now I don't know how well the back row would grow, but I'm pretty excited for the opportunities for next year. So already looking for next year's summer, and we're just not even over with this one. Okay guys, well, he was right. It is starting to sprinkle. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next video. Later. Give these guys a little food shop for you.